Welcome to Five Writers, 5 minutes, where five writers talk about writing craft. I'm Sarah Armstrong.
I'm Zanni Louise.
I'm Lian Tanner.
I'm Deborah Abela.
And I'm Tristan Bancks.
And this week we're talking about our typical writing day. What do we do? How do we get in the zone? How our writing days changed over time, in the hope that it might help you with your writing. Zanni, what's your typical writing day?
Oh, look, if I'm at home and writing, as opposed to being on the road doing other things, I like to go out to my little Sunshine House studio. And as you've recently discovered, leave my phone inside so no one can contact me, including you guys. So I go out to my studio and I just write. And there's something about the fact that it's warmer than my actual house because it's filled with sunshine. And I think because I've deliberately preserved it as a writing space, it is actually quite productive. So I just sit there. I'll probably write for about 2 hours, go take a break, have some breakfast, late breakfast. Then I'll come back to another couple of hours. And usually the afternoons, not a lot's happening, but I'll probably use that time to brainstorm or maybe read a book or listen to a podcast or something writerly. Yeah.
Nice.
That sounds very civilized.
Yeah.
Lian?
It does, doesn't it? I also go to my studio, also known as the living room sofa. For me, a really big part of how my writing day works is about figuring out when my creative brain works best. And for me, it is absolutely in the morning, and preferably fairly early mornings, because I really love that time of day when there aren't a lot of other people around, when the streets are quiet, and when there just seems to be that really, really thin layer between me and kind of the mysteries of the world. So that's when I really like to write. So I get up early. I try really hard not to get too distracted, by social media and all that sort of stuff, because once I get distracted, that is it, one distraction, and that's absolutely fatal for the rest of the day. So I get stuck into it. I go for a walk to solve a problem. If there's something that I'm getting stuck on, I'll go for a walk. I move around the house to stop getting stuck. The afternoons aren't good for me for creative stuff, but the afternoons are fantastic for admin. So the afternoons are when I write new talks or articles or all that sort of stuff.
Cool.
Yeah, it's funny because I love the way you describe that thin line, Lian, between like almost the world and the world of possibility, and they talk about that when you wake up, there is this, the science behind when you wake up, you're still actually caught in that dream world. And so perhaps that's why so far all of us are finding the mornings, that's when my brain is most creative and most active. But I get up first and I do actually have to move. So I do some yoga or some Pilates or something. I write here, if you can see me, I'm in the attic of my house, so the very pointy top of the house, so it's very quiet, it's very light, it's very warm. And a typical writing day is kind of what you've said so far. I have to leave my phone far away. I sometimes turn the internet off so I'm not even tempted to look, and even if I have to do research, often I'll think, you know what, I'll do that later, so that I'm not tempted to fall into a rabbit hole of, oh, look at that interesting thing over there. But I mean, in a way, when I actually get down to my desk, there's no real typical writing day. Some days are really, really good. Some days it feels like every word I have to pull out of, some really tough place. So what I try to do is not to be too hard on myself and just go, you know what, today's just not going to be a good writing day, but that's okay. I'll persist for a while, and if not, I'll go for a walk, and there's always tomorrow and we can try again. So I never try to sit down and think, right, today has to be perfect and I've got to write for 2 hours non-stop, because that's probably the best way to kill my creativity.
Yeah.
It's interesting how many things you have all said that I relate to. Like I pretty much don't have much to add to that. Yeah, the thing of waking up early, if I can have a pen and a notepad beside the bed and I can literally roll over and not do anything else and just start writing and just free, and it'll be dreamy and it won't necessarily make a lot of sense when I read it back, but there'll be some truths in there too. I'll discover something, and if I turn my mind to what is my story about, I'll suddenly discover something that I wouldn't have discovered had I not done that direct dream to notepad sort of transition. So there's that. There's early morning, 3 pages in a notepad, and then there is often breakfast or a walk or a coffee or something, and then I'll often go to a cafe for a couple of hours. I like to sit, and I like it when there's a little bit of chaos around me, a little bit of noise, a little bit of coffee machines, as long as it's not a specifically annoying voice of someone complaining about something right near me. I like that chaos, and then I'll walk back, and then I'll sit down at home. I'll do another couple of hours, so probably about 4 or 5 hours of writing, and then by about 12:30 or 1 o'clock, or I cannot write anymore, and do all the admin and things. I like to move around too, so I don't mind writing in a hotel room, or writing on public transport, or writing in the car, or writing on my phone, all that sort of stuff, as long as there's some time set aside. Sarah, what do you do?
Well, we're all morning writers.
Yep.
Nighttime writers do exist, but
Mm.
no, I mean, I love nothing more than just waking up and in the quiet and the dark while the whole world is asleep, going into my story, because it just feels like there's less sort of static or something kind of interrupting my connection with the story and the page. I write in bed quite a lot, just because it's comfortable, and when I'm comfortable, I think I just write better. Although I can get a bit sleepy, so unsurprisingly, that's when I come and sit at a desk, and my desk is in my bedroom, which is not ideal. Soon I'm going to have my own study, which will be really great. And yeah, look, I think the maximum I can get done in a day, unless I'm writing to a deadline and I'm just having to push, is probably 5 hours a day is the maximum I could write. But of course, all sorts of other things go on, and I've just learnt to snatch 20 minutes here or half an hour there, or like I don't wait for the big chunks of time, because otherwise I won't finish my story or my book. So I'll just take little moments where I can. And yeah, I need to move my body. I need to exercise every day in some way. And love to stop and have a cup of tea. Look, I have to confess, occasionally, if I'm just sort of having trouble focusing on the story, I actually will watch something, like a little bit of a TV show or something. And it's almost like it's this little circuit breaker. And then I can bring my mind back to the story. So I don't find it distracts me or sends me down a rabbit hole. It's just like a sorbet in a meal. It's a little freshens my mouth
Pickled
up.
ginger.
I have a sorbet every night when I have dinner, for the
In between your courses.
between courses.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone. I think it's really interesting. We're all morning writers, and we all seem to have a fairly similar approach. It would be very interesting to find someone who's got a completely different approach, a
Leave
nighttime
us
writer.
some comments if you're a night writer. How does that work?
Yeah.
Yes.
Who are you?
Thanks, everyone. We're 5 Writers, 5 Minutes. Check out our other episodes. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.